Welcome back to 9 at a Time, the channel where I go through old sets of sports cards, 9 cards at a time. Today's set is the 1989 Score Baseball set. We're going to be going through cards 325 to 405. There's some pretty cool cards in here. If you like the video, please click the like button. If you enjoy the channel, please click the subscribe button and leave a comment. Let's get started. Bruce Hurst starts us off, then Manny Lee, Rick Aguilera with the Mets. You got Bruce Ruffin, Ed Whitson, Bo Jackson. Bo was, at this time, he was probably the biggest athlete in the United States because he was playing football, he was playing baseball, he was killing it in both. Everybody loved Bo. Ivan Calderon, he's kind of another guy that people forget about. Didn't have a very good year there in 1988, but in 1987, he did. You got Mickey Hatcher and then Barry Jones. Ron Hassey, catcher for the A's. Bill Wegman. Damon Berryhill, catching with the Cubs. Steve Ontiveros, Dan Pasqua, Bill Pecota, Greg Cadaret, Scott Bankhead, and Ron Guidry. This must have been towards the end of his career because he threw hard. He wasn't particularly a big guy, 5'11", 160 pounds, but he had some wonderful years there. That stretch, 25 wins, 21 wins, 22 wins, 170 and 91 overall, at least at that point. Danny Heap, he was kind of a utility guy. Bob Brower, Rich Gedman, caught a lot for the Red Sox. Nelson Santovenia, George Bell. And George Bell, just look at the power numbers there. He was good. And why people don't remember him is beyond me, but he was very good. You got Mark Grant, Roger Clemens towards the beginning of his career. He'd been playing maybe 3 or 4 years at this point. And then Bill Long. Jay Bell, shortstop with the Indians. Steve Balboni, whose nickname was Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. He did not do much for an average. You can see there, 231. He did a lot for home runs. Bob Kipper, pitcher for the Pirates. Steve Jeltz. Jesse Orosco. And Jesse, I know that this is right here, what you're looking at right here is 79 to 88, but he pitched for a long time. Rob Dernier, Mickey Tettleton. He was a good defensive, like it says, he's a fine defensive catcher. Dwayne Ward and Darren Jackson. Ray Quinones for the Mariners at shortstop. Mark Grace. Mark Grace did not hit for power. This is very early on in his career, this card is. He didn't hit much for power, but he did hit a lot for average. Steve Lake, Pat Perry, Terry Steinbach, Alan Ashby, Jeff Montgomery, Steve Buechele, and Chris Brown. I look at these two cards here of Steve Buechele and Chris Brown, and it makes me kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say laugh, but it just is kind of ironic that they both played third base, and they're both in essentially the same stance, and the cards are right next to each other in the set. We got Orel Hershiser up here, then Todd Benzinger, Ron Gant. I like to highlight Ron Gant because I think that people forget just how good Ron Gant was. He was a 30-30 guy twice. Paul Assenmacher, Joey Meyer, Neil Allen of the Yankees, Mike Davis playing for the Dodgers, Jeff Parrott, and Jay Howell. Jay Howell was a closer. You can see right there in the saves. People didn't quite know what to do with him, and then they put him in the bullpen, and he was okay. Rafael Belliard was a slick fielder. And if I remember correctly, he was not very tall. Nope, he was 5'6", 150 pounds. You got Luis Polonia, Keith Atherton, Kent Herbeck, who hit for power and a bit of an average. Bob Stanley, Dave LaPointe, Rance Mulliniks, Melidio Perez, and Doug Jones. And Doug Jones also, at this point in his career, started to become a good closer. 37 saves in 88. So you got Steve Lyons, and he has been in the past an announcer on Major League Baseball Network. Alejandro Pena. Frank White was the defensive second baseman for the Kansas City Royals forever. He could hit a little bit. He could field like nobody's business. He was the mainstay second baseman with the Royals. Pat Tabler, Eric Plunk, Mike Maddox, who is Greg Maddox's older brother. Ellen Anderson, Bob Brenly, and Rick Cerrone. Scott Terry, pitcher with the Cardinals. Mike Jackson. Bobby Thigpen. This is right towards the beginning of his career. They turned him into a closer, and he thrived. The other thing that's interesting about this, in 1987, he played in Hawaii. I don't remember seeing many baseball cards of players who played in Hawaii. In minor leagues, obviously. You got Don Sutton here, who had been playing at that point for a long time, won 324 games. Cecil Espy, Junior Ortiz, Mike Smithson, Bud Black, came up with the Royals, came up with the Mariners, and then did well with the Royals and just kind of pitched his way around. And Tom Foley, and notice it says on his card, infielder, IF. So he played short, second, third, first, wherever you needed him to play. There we go. The 1989 Score baseball card set, cards 325 through 405. If you enjoyed going through that with me, click the like button. If you subscribe to the channel, that would be killer. And leave a comment. Thank you for watching.